The Pope made a surprise appearance at the Vatican, attending Mass at St. Peter's Square.
Buona domenica a tutti. Grazie tante.
It's the first time we've seen him since he was released from the hospital after battling pneumonia for more than a month. So he sent blessings to the crowd and offered prayers to the sick and all those people who work in healthcare and help the sick, who he said need to be supported and respected. We've learned a second child, a little girl, has died after getting the measles. This was an 8-year-old girl who lived in Lubbock, Texas, who was not vaccinated. She follows another little girl who was 6 years old from that same community who also died. 500 cases there. We've had a smattering of cases in our area, largely in unvaccinated people. So we told you about the space tourists who were going to orbit for the very first time ever the poles. 4 people. There was a cyber currency person who was leading this, and then 4 other people who were scientists. They took off from that SpaceX Dragon capsule. Well, they came down safely on Friday. There's a splashdown.
Welcome home from 2.
There you go. Welcome home. Nicely done. So they did all kinds of great experiments when they were up there. They were doing X-rays in space, and they got these beautiful views of the poles, which is the first time we've ever flown that flight pattern ever in the whole history of travel. X-rays. This is one of the X-rays they took. Isn't that cool? And then they were growing mushrooms as well in microgravity. So we will see what those experiments tell us in the years to come. In Camden County, the Gloucester Township Days are not going to happen this year because there's threats of violence. It was supposed to be on Saturday, June 7th. They've been doing it for years and years and years. Great event for the whole family, but they've had problems. And now they have social media posts which are threatening activity that they are really concerned about enough, and that they are just saying, we're not going to do it. And you remember what happened last year. They're like, we're not going to do this again, with people that are having horrible behavior, teens that are not being, at any respect for authority and threatening police.
It's sad, but smart on their part. I get it. You hate to see things like that canceled. It's good for most of the community, but unfortunately, safety comes first.
It's sad that we have to live in a world where you can't even go about your yearly traditions because of threats of violence and things of that nature.
So there'll be a news conference on this one where they will talk more about this decision. Let's show you some